Talk Shoe.
Recorded live.
Hey everybody, Davenport here on TalkShoe.com, one of our old favorite standby platforms that we use when the station is down, and it has always treated us really good for years. We started out actually on TalkShoe years ago, and we really had a good time, and those were some exciting days, and now we've moved on and gotten our own station, and now it's down for a few days. We're also, you can find us on Blog Talk Radio, of course. We've done many shows over there. Between all 4 or 5 platforms, we've done over 1,500 shows over the last 6 to 7 years. It's been a lot of fun. We're here in the rainy Northwest. Spring has sprung, though. We can see the robins are out. The red robins are out in force, and we hope that spring is just around the corner. I'm on with my good friend Glenn. Glenn, how's it going?
Doing pretty good tonight. A little bit down, like I said before the show. I'm not feeling a little well because of the weather and what they've been doing around here and the chemtrails and all that. But, yeah, pushing on.
Yeah, well, you know, you got to just push on and take a lot of Klonopin. That's what I do, and it works for me. So I tell you, that Xanax was really not the best drug in the world that I got off of last week. But this Klonopin, let me tell you something, buddy, this stuff kicks some ass. Wow, this is some good stuff. Hello, grandkids. How are you doing? Good to see you out there. Okay, all of my grandkids can now go to bed. I got 9 or 10 or 11 or 12 of them. I think all y'all need to go to bed, like right now. And Mommy, put them to bed now. This is going to get raunchy out here, so put them to bed now. Warning, alien approaching. So
good night,
put those grandkids to bed, and then you can come back with us, daughter. I've got so many damn grandkids, I forgot how many I have. But anyway.
It's always good, mate.
Yeah, I've been feeling pretty damn good for the last few days. That, like I said, that Klonopin, some kick-ass stuff. I recommend it to anyone, anywhere, anytime, any day, especially if you have PTSD like I do, and you want to crawl under the bed and hide with the dust bunnies. I definitely recommend Klonopin. I think there's another name for it. What is it, producer? Clonazepam. Clonazepam. That's the other name for it. Many of you have been asking what Kiler Davenport likes to do besides raise hell on Facebook and drive everyone completely out of their fucking mind. And I wanted to tell you, I love to fish. I love to hunt. I love to go camping. I love to go hiking. I love to play my guitar. I love to do digital artwork on my computer. I love to play my flute. I love to go into studio and cut CDs with my buddies. I have a lot of different hobbies. I do cut glass. Cut stained glass. And I think a lot. I'm a thinker. I'm a super thinker. I think constantly around the clock. My hamsters are just running, and they never stop running. Sometimes I wish I could turn them off, kill them, throw them out of the cage.
Yeah.
What about
exactly.
that? Don't you, Glenn?
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. That sounds exactly like me. I mean, my wife, I'm constantly on the computer doing news, you know. It's like constantly there are times I go 107 hours straight work, you know. It's like,
me too.
Like, well, don't you ever do anything else? It's like, yeah, I sleep once in a while. Yeah. Because I've made this my life because it's like, you know, something I'm passionate in, and it's kind of funny. We were talking about the brain injury month and being March, and I happened to have my brain injury during March. So that was a kind of coincidence that I came up with earlier. It's like,
oh, wow.
Wow. You know, my auto accident happened on St. Patty's Day. So, and it's right in the middle of March, and it's like a real bad time for me, which is coming up. But, 28 years now that it's been this, and it kind of wears on you, and then people go, what do you do? It's like, this is all I do. I do news now. This is what I live, 24/7. And it never stops, and it never sleeps, and I do sometimes. But, that's how passionate I am. And, I kind of take my life and say, look, I've got a brain injury, but I'm doing what I can, And people, that's not really a job. It's like, for me it is,
You and I share a lot in common, it looks like, because I do the same thing, and I'm proud of it, and I'm happy with it, and that's what I like to do, and that's what I'm going to continue to do until they roll me out of here with a toe tag on my little foot.
The only way up is feet up. I mean, you're going out, feet down, feet up, you're gone. If they're going to take me out, I'm still going to be sitting on the computer, news going. So that's the way I'm going to go.
And ladies and gentlemen, I need to clarify. Everybody's asking me in PM here to please clarify my post in Facebook concerning pedophilia, so I'm going to clarify my position here so I won't get in any more trouble. Well, I'm not in any trouble. I've just, people are kind of aghast. And let me clarify my position here. I have never said that I advocate for pedophilia. I have never been an advocate for pedophilia. I have never said that I'm going to go and march for pedophiles. I'm simply saying that it's normal for men to feel this way. And you can go to hell. All of you can go to hell. You can go jump in the fucking lake. I don't care.
Send them to heaven. Send them to heaven. I got to clean hell up because I live here. And I got to see them every day. Yeah, go to heaven, mate. Let God take care of you.
I'm simply telling all of you, and you can look it up. You can Google it. You can go sit in your corner and cry and spit and slobber and think about it. It's normal for men to be this way. I'm 60 years old. I've dealt with so many organizations and been around so many people and so many men, and I've been camping with so many men, and I've been hiking with so many men, and I've sit around the campfire with so many men, and I can tell you that it's normal. And you may not like that. You may not appreciate that. You may not be able to stomach that. You may not be able to grasp that. But it's normal. And I draw the line at 12 years old. That's where the Bible draws the line. I draw the line at 12 years old, and I'm sorry we don't live in a village anymore. I'm sorry we're not hunter-gatherers anymore. I'm so sorry that we can't have sex with a 12-year-old and bring her back to the hut with grandma and grandpa and nephews and nieces and uncles and aunts and cousins. I'm sorry that we can't live peacefully in the village anymore. I'm so sorry. It's just not right for a 12-year-old or a 13-year-old to have sex anymore and have a baby because there's nobody there to take care of the little shit. That's the problem, my people. It's not the sex part that bothers you. It's who's going to take care of the baby.
Yeah, everybody's worried about the aftermath.
Right.
It's like, no, you're speaking the truth. Well, there we go with the truth again.
But that is the truth. No, you're right, Glenn. You're right. That is one of those truths you and I talked about that can't be refuted.
Yeah, it's a natural instinct of the human animal to reproduce, and as soon as possible, and the minute girls start menstruating, they're able to reproduce. They're able to have sex. God made it that way, not man. So
and most men are very, very predatory, very horny, and they'll have sex with a chicken if nobody's looking, or a cow.
Yeah, pretty much.
So
pretty much,
that's the way it is. Now, do I advocate for baby sex? No, I do not advocate for sex with children under 12 years old.
No, that's
I think that is a disease that we haven't discovered yet. There's something going on inside the human brain that we have not been able to discover yet. We know very little about the human brain. We know very little about the human species. We know very little about anything. But I do not think that these people should have their balls cut off and their head cut off and all of the things that you all are advocating for. I'm against it. I'm sorry. I am against it. I'm against it. I don't think that's the way to approach it. I just don't think that's the way to approach it. Put them on an island, throw them some food out of a chopper. I don't know, but don't tell me you're going to cut their balls off and you're going to shove it down their throat and you're going to tie them up and burn them alive and all that kind of shit. I don't want to hear it. I simply don't want to hear it, you two-faced hypocrite.
Yeah, and then these same type people go, hey, I'm a Christian. No, you're not. Yeah,
right.
I'm sorry. It just doesn't work. You're a hypocrite.
It's all mixed up. Yeah, it's all mixed up. They're all mixed up. They're just mixed up.
And well, religion has a lot to explain for it. I mean, I think religion is a disease myself. But
it is a disease. It is.
I mean, I was brainwashed a Southern Baptist most of my young life, and it's like, come on, and no, it was brainwashing. It wasn't worshiping God. It was brainwashing. Admit it. You have to go to church on Sunday, and you have to be there this many times, and Wednesday night prayer meeting, you got to be there. Come on, it's a cult, and that's all religion is to me, is a cult. Do I believe in God? Yes, I believe there's a creator. I'm not an atheist. I do believe that somebody created what we have here today. I call him God, and I say him because.
Well, I would say not a him, but.
I call him because that's the narrative, but I mean, it's actually like sentient energy, almost like the Force out of Star Wars. And having that auto accident and dying and what I saw when I died, it kind of messed my perspective up on life. But it also tweaked it and went, wait a minute, there's more to life than you're looking at. Look at it differently. And like I stated the other night, I didn't know there was a box for a while. And then everybody tried to cram me into the box. And it's like, I don't want to be in there, you idiots. Yeah. You don't think in there. You only follow each other around. You go circles, and you call it revolution. And all you're doing is going around the same shit constantly. I'm out of the box going, hey, you don't need the box. Get out of the box. Evolve. Yeah.
Well, I've gotten to the point now where I'm backing away from groups. I'm backing away from people. I'm backing away from trying to organize and get together and do this and do that. But, I don't want to completely quit, but I'm definitely sour on the whole thing. I'm definitely sour on the whole thing.
I don't like groups. I feel very uncomfortable in a group because everybody backstabs and everybody's got their own agenda in a group, and then it all evolves into a hive mind collective where you have to follow that one person that they nominate. We got to follow Johnny because Johnny has all the answers and Johnny's a shithead. But let's follow Johnny anyway. And then Johnny screws up, and then everybody goes, well, what do we do now? And then other cliques start coming in, and they go, oh, well, and it's high school crap. I mean,
then after a while, they throw Johnny out, and some other.
Yeah, Johnny gets ejected because Jimmy wants to take charge, and everybody follows. Well, he's got 100 people over 70, 50. So it's like, oh, come on, you all follow groupthink, and just admit it, and they're good at it. And they know how to manipulate groups that way because they send in infiltrators that do this stuff. And, well, let's nominate Johnny. And they build it up. And it's like, I'm tired of agitators. I break down groups because I join these. I go into these movements and people go, well, you're part of the movement. No, I'm covering the movement. I'm news. I'm focusing on what you're doing. I focus on what everybody's doing. And they don't understand this. And they go, well, you're part of the group now, and you have to follow our think. And you have to, if we hate this person, you have to hate this person. It's like, well, if he's my friend and I don't hate him, I'm not going to hate him because you told me to. Well, we're going to get peer pressure and make you. And it comes down to all that. And, well, what, you don't kiss my ass and you don't get anything. And it's like, fuck you all. I'm tired of this shit. This is why we keep failing, is because we keep doing this. We keep going, well, it's black. Well, it's white. It's Black Lives Matter. No, it's White Lives Matter. Well, everybody matters or nobody matters. I mean, it's that simple. And you get in these hive mind collective thought groups like Anonymous. We'll mention them again. You know, you get the asshats of Anonymous. All you're doing is putting on a mask and hiding your crime. That, you know, pretty much. Yeah. Now, I'm not going against Anonymous because, like we've said in the last episode, you know, there are people in Anonymous, the core members that are doing a great job. I salute them and I stand behind them 100%. So and I'm behind the idea and the cause, but these Klingon asshat retarded troglodytes, I'm tired of retarded troglodytes. And I use that word retarded, meaning growth has been stunted, you know, and, you know, troglodyte is a willfully ignorant person. So there you have it.
Well,
and
now everybody with an Anonymous mask thinks that they're somehow the core group of Anonymous, and they're not.
Yeah. I mean, I've dealt with. I'm very well familiar with that group because I've been in and out of that group. I got kicked out of Anonymous, so that's. And I
feel sorry for some of them because they're just cute kids and they're just innocent kids, and they're
being led astray. And I mean, part of that faction is CIA. So I mean, you gotta look at all the facets of it, and people don't. They just go, oh, Anonymous, and there's some that look at the bad side and go, well, Anonymous is bad, and they're only looking at that asshat group, not looking at what they really do.
Right.
And it's, you know,
your common sense. Your common sense can tell you, if you have a lot of brain cells, what Anonymous really does at the core, without even thinking. You know what Anonymous is all about and what they're doing. We don't even have to discuss it or talk about it or voice it. We know what the positive side of Anonymous is.
Yeah.
And we also know that there are a bunch of asshats pretending to be Anonymous. That's two things, you know. Yeah.
And a lot of the ones that are pretending are your agitators, your infiltrators, your, you know, the wind-up toys that the police, like, you know, wind up and keep doing illegal things to the people to make them go off, and then they go off, and the police go, see, we got to stop that. Well, if you would stop winding them up, it wouldn't happen. Yeah.
Right.
And like here in Richmond, everybody goes, oh, the protesters took to the streets after the police led them out to the streets. The police lined the streets, and they go, well, the protesters were rioting. No, they weren't. They were being led by the police. I have this on film. I wrote articles.
You will never see a true black hat on the streets at any kind of protest. You will never see a true Anonymous member of the core group on the street anywhere.
And you won't find any high-level agents on the, you know, they won't be lurking around in public. You'll never see the real agents hitting you. They'll hit you. Never. And everybody goes, oh, you don't know anything. It's like, no, I gave an oath to the intelligence community in the Army. I know a lot of things. I saw a lot of classified information in my short period of time in the Army. And then I went looking after I got out and went, whoa, well, look at all the stuff that's in public now. And people, all their conspiracy theory. It's like, I go to Army.mil and can show you manual after manual that I saw.
Sure.
And, you know, it's like, it's available if you just go look when nobody wants to look. And it's like, well, you're strange. It's like, no, I just pay attention. You know?
Very interesting that you bring that up, because it's so strange what's out there for people to see if they would just look. Some of the most outrageous shit is out there that's true. If people would just take the time to go click, 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 clickety, click, 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 there it is.
And get over the peer pressure. And get over the peer pressure. Get over that mind think of what will my friends think. Well, your friends are fucking idiots. You know? They're fucking idiots, and they're looking at you like you're strange because you know more than them. And I'm finding this out. I've been, like I said, I've been fighting the information war since '87, and and people go, oh, well, I've been in it since 2009, and I know more than you. Yeah, the fuck you do. The fuck you do. I mean, prove it. I keep coming up with stuff, and you go, wow, I didn't even know that. Well, you know more than me. Come on.
I did find out something very interesting about TIs that I didn't think about, and that is the fact that these agents will pick a certain person through the algorithm of their life, and they will target them based on who they might meet, who they might associate with, or who they are associated with, that's associated with, that's associated with, that's associated with.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. I didn't think about that. Because you've heard the question, why would the CIA or the NSA or the DOD or the DOJ or anybody target a common citizen on Facebook and start driving them crazy? Well, it's because of the algorithm. It's because of who that person is associated with. That's the reason why. It's not because of the person. It's because of what the person's capable of doing. Like they target me because I'm on the radio and I'm outrageous as shit, and I know a lot of people from a lot of three-letter agencies, and I deal with a lot of shit in South America, in Uganda, in Pakistan. So I'm targeted individual, see? Not because of me being so special, but because of who I'm connected with.
Right. Well, I also have this theory that a lot of these people that say that they're targeted individuals per se are not targeted individuals. They're actually sensitives. They're sensitive to all this stuff, and they're going, oh, I'm targeted because I feel it. No, you're just sensitive to the environment of it coming in, and the electromagnetic spectrum is what, because, I mean, if you take the number of targeted individuals, and they're growing every day, and it can't be exponentially going like that because the agencies don't, like you said, it's an algorithm they use, and they have this chart that they go, hey, well, this person is targeted, but there might be 4 people around him that feel this electromagnetic pulse and go, I'm a targeted individual too. And it starts getting out of hand.
And we must bring up the fact that there are a lot of people who just want to be loved. And they just want to be treated
15 minutes
respect,
of fame.
And they want to be compassion. They want to have compassion, and they want to have people kissing their boo-boos, and they want to share something in common with someone. And the best way to do that is to become a full-blown TI.
Yes. Yep. And then once you become a TI, well, then you become sensitive to everything, and it's a phobia. I mean, it's a mental illness per se on somebody. I'm not saying every targeted individual. Yeah, I'm not saying every targeted individual, because I've known targeted individuals. Yeah, I get hit constantly, but like you said, it's because I go on to press TV in Iran. Of course they're going to watch me.
Yes, of course.
I broadcast from my house to Iran. They're going. I have all the alphabet soup agencies watching me. Some of them are my readers. I know this. I talk to individuals that are in the agencies. I'll go to the FBI and talk to them myself. I don't care. I've known high level FBI agents. So
let me look here and see who's targeting us right now. Just a minute. Let me see how many agencies are watching.
Well, you're not going to find all of them because they're monitoring every communication, every electronic.
I've got corporate agencies, organizations, and NGOs that are watching for spy tracking, tracing, and profiling reasons. Here we go, 6,934.
Yeah, see, I tell people this today. you're not that important. Obviously, I am at 6,000 people, or, it's a lot more than 12, like my ex-co-host said. I only need 12 people reading my stuff to convict you, okay? So I'll say no more. I'll leave it at 12. It's a lot more than that, but I'll leave it at 12 because it only takes 12 to convict you in a jury. So we'll just leave it at that.
Well, on average, we've always got anywhere from 4,000 to 6,000 watching, listening, profiling.
And that's not counting the back doors that are built into your computers, to your cell phones, and them hitting the Stingray towers that they're putting up everywhere to monitor everything. They're not Gwen towers. They might be Gwen-enabled towers, but the Gwen program was never completed. So calling everything a Gwen tower is a little bit sketchy. I can kind of see them because they're Gwen-enabled, but they're not all Gwen towers. There were only about 208 of them planned for the whole United States. They can't be every 500 feet, people.
No,
I mean, it's ridiculous. And when you start looking into it, people go, oh, you don't know anything. It's like, I can pull up facts. I can pull up stuff from the 30s about this stuff. It's, come on, I do my research, and, you don't know anything. I start producing the evidence, and they run away and go, it's like, so I didn't know anything.
No offense, but I haven't had anybody critiquing my shit. I must be saying the right thing, or I must be saying something.
Well, I go by the video game analogy that my son taught me. If you don't see any enemies, you're going the wrong way.
Well, I see. I have my detractors. Well,
you get the most flack when you're over the targets, always. And but if you don't see any enemies anywhere for a while,
I'll tell you, silence is also dangerous. People silence.
Well, I like to silence sometimes because mold grows in silence, and it spreads and it grows, and people go, oh, well, they're not watching you. I like to be ignored for a while, and then all of a sudden I come back up, and people go, holy shit, look how big you are. And each time I go silent, I get bigger. It's just a mold theory. That's what I'm calling it. It's like you leave it alone and ignore it long enough, it grows. And like I said, the choir is growing, so keep preaching to the choir because we're starting to get more numbers in the choir. So,
well, I'm going to keep preaching the 25 Top Gun team, and it.
But you definitely got my help. So.
Well, and we just need to find some more enthusiastic people with brain cells, those who have brain cells.
Well, common sense isn't so common in the planet anymore. It's becoming a superpower.
I mean, this is a super, super duper plan. This is something that anybody like you and I would just bite into a juicy sirloin steak.
It was what I was planning. I mean, on my own, I'm like, well, like I said, I don't like groups, but I'm more effective on my own. But
this is like
standing with a group of individuals that each have their own individual specialities and agenda going in the same direction. That's a force that can't be stopped.
That's a force that can't be stopped. You're exactly right.
I don't want a hive mind collective. We're all doing the same thing. We've got to take left. Now I got to go right. Now we got to go left. No, that doesn't work. It's a group of individuals acting as one unit.
And sharing that diversity that's within the group, that's also powerful. Sharing
and not
diversity.
Fighting in amongst each other. You don't need to compete. I don't need to compete with you, Kiler. You don't need to compete with me. We're both going in the same direction, saying basically the same damn thing. It only makes sense to join up and go, hey, let's go together with more numbers or what we need, not a group of one mind working as one. It doesn't work because you get the head not working and then it goes awry and you fall apart.
People keep asking me, what is the benefit to me? And I say, if you have to ask that question after all of the explaining that I have done on the Cross Promotion Project, even sent you the writing and the composition and the overview of the Cross Promotion Project, then you're stupid. you know.
Yeah, pretty much.
The reason for you and I, it's like an orgasm. It's like, oh my God, we've got this power. I mean, we've got these 25 people that are centered on sharing and liking and keeping the algorithm alive, you know, keeping us alive in this machine. That's what this algorithm hates. They hate togetherness. They cannot stand unity. They love division and suck it like blood, like a vampire. Division, 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 and they love for you to feel good. It's a feel-good thing. Oh, I'm on Facebook. Look at all the little names on the side of my page over there on the right. Oh, I'm on Facebook. How many likes did I get today? That's stupid. That's what they love. That's what they love. But when 25 people come together and form a strategic organization and are sharing each other's shit, and they're liking each other's shit and commenting on each other's shit and pulling together a few meetings once a month or twice a month, Facebook hates that because it overrides their algorithm, and there's not a fucking thing they can do about it.
Other than try to keep you down, and then you know you're really doing good when your numbers go down as you share more content and your numbers keep plummeting.
Oh, my numbers
doing
have
something
plummeted.
Right.
My numbers have plummeted. Yeah, my numbers have gone from 5,000 post reach, 5,000 to 565.
Yeah,
My
well, you're doing good, and as it starts climbing back up, and they keep driving it down, and you keep going back up each time, you're doing good. People go, well, I don't like that you like your post. Every post you like your own post. It's like, I do it to beat the algorithm. Yeah. I said, all my shit appears in your timeline, doesn't it? Yeah, you flood my timeline. That's kind of crazy. It's like, yeah, because I like my own post and override the algorithm, and I get my shit on your page. Yeah. That's where I get my views from, and people start sharing my stuff or come to me and go, well, you don't know what you're fucking talking about. And I love them. And it's like, and then I blow them away, and they run away. And it's like, I thought you wanted to fight, you know? Come on, I'm ready to fight. Hey, you run away, nah. Yeah. So it's
my people engaged went from over 700 to 104.
Mhm. Yeah, I don't even know what my real numbers are because they keep spiking me and locking me out of my account and doing all kinds of crazy things to me. And it's like, you know, well, like I said, my last account, I took them to test with New York Post and got the child porn and gore porn. That was, I mean, I saw some disgusting stuff on Facebook and child trafficking, human trafficking.
On Facebook?
Yeah. Yes. And it was run by the FBI. I mean, the FBI told me to stop investigating because, I was getting too close to the truth. And, we can't have that. And, but, and people go, no, you know, it's like, go look up the New York Post, ask John Cradell. Yeah, I did it,
If you read any of my posts earlier, you might have seen the one about advertising companies spending billions and billions to make people lust after teens.
No, I didn't. I haven't read it on the day. I just popped on a few minutes before we came on air. So.
They spend billions parading these little teen whores around in front of everybody at the magazine stand.
I mean, they had the beauty pageant on TV was for 4 or 5 year olds parading around, and it's like, oh my God, it's like Hollywood is pushing this. I was in the adult business. I saw a lot of this stuff and tried to put a stop to it when I was in there, and I kept going afterwards by Amanda Todd, little girl that killed herself because of it. I mean, I helped the Royal Canadian Mounted Police on that. It's like, I got emails to them and tried to get that off the Fed book. And it was like, oh my God, the stuff that they let on there. And then they go, oh, well, we have photo DNA, which identifies each photo. No, it doesn't. It doesn't work then because I keep seeing the same photos coming up over and over and over again. And I'm not investigating now because when you're ordered by the FBI to stop, you you kind of listen to the FBI.
Oh, I always listen to the FBI.
So, you know, it's like, no, I'm not. But is it still going on? I'm pretty sure it is. I get reports every once in a while from people that it's still going on.
They also do some of these. They also do some of these as stings, and they have to run them.
Well, they run them, and
I was undercover for a couple of years and a half, 3 years, and we run those stings, and we have to let people get hurt. Unfortunately, people have to get killed. People have to get hurt.
Right, you got to let them commit the crime first in order to convict them.
In order to reach the full capacity of the investigation, people have to get hurt. Collateral damage. Yeah,
which is unfortunate. Yeah, and you know, that's what they didn't want, because I was starting to tell them how their stings were working, and it was like, you got to go. Yeah. Now we don't want you because you found the truth out, man. We don't need that published. It's like,
I've looked for shit like that on Facebook. I haven't looked that hard. I've looked for shit like that on Facebook and couldn't find it.
Well, for a while, a lot of the anonymous groups started cleaning up FedBook around 2013, 2014, and they really started going after that stuff after I got it in the New York Post. And you know, and I give them credit. A lot of these groups, I'm still friends with several people in different groups, and they're still going.
They've got like a deal on Google where if you type in young, sexy, nasty girls, pre-puberty, click. The Christian coalitions have come up with a deal that snares you.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you've seen it, but it comes up and says, you have been targeted for going into this site. You're so-and-so and so-and-so and so-and-so and so-and-so and so-and-so. And you're like, oh, my God, what have I done?
Mm-hmm.
I'm caught. You know.
Yeah.
Which I thought was pretty cool.
It logs your IP and everything else.
Yeah.
And
And
they can also
just for typing in the words.
Yeah. Well, you know, I'm going after the city of Richmond because they violated the 2257 statute when they broke into my house illegally and interrogated my son illegally at school, and then the CPS worker turned out to be a pedophile, and as a parent, I was not allowed to know what a pedophile told my son. And it's like, holy shit. And I had police in my house without a warrant. And I'm like, well, you know, what do I do? And they go, don't worry about it. It was the lady lied, so don't worry about it. It's like, what was it? That's a crime, you know? And coming into my house and saying I was doing child porn without checking my 2257, which was all my records for all my adult work. You know, it's like, well, why can't I sue you for violating the damn law that I had to learn and had to do all this shit and had to, you know, it's like, my God, and they, don't worry about it because we found you not guilty, so you be happy. It's like, no, you violated the law. You came into my house, you violated my family, you held me hostage and my family hostage for a year and a half under basically house arrest. It got to the point I had to ask the police officers if I was allowed to cut my grass in my front yard. I mean, it was that bad, and they're like, oh, don't worry about it. And then one of the officers that was telling me I had no right to photograph children in public as a press photographer, you know, he went to jail for being a pedophile. And it's like, well, Jesus Christ, you know, all these pedophiles around here tell me not to be a pedophile. Well, yeah, because you don't want any competition. I mean, my God. And then the lady next door was a tenant. I was the property manager. And it's like all this illegal stuff happening. I have all this evidence, and everybody goes, don't worry about it. But then you hear on the news something less than that, and the people get all this money, and it's like, screw you. If my rights don't matter, yours don't matter either. You know, it's getting to that point. And I can't hold police I'm trying to get an internal investigation on the police, but they gave me the
as far
internal.
away. After I left as an investigator with the governor's office, I stay as far away from the blue suits as possible. I don't get involved.
I do too, but when they stick their nose in your face and in your business and do
but then you want to try to get out of their business as quick as possible.
Yeah, well, that's all I wanted to try to do. Is like, but every time they hang up the phone, they give me an answering machine. They don't, it's like, oh, if you just give me the records, well, we can't give you the records because that'll prove that we did wrong. It's like, it's who do you hold accountable when the people you're holding accountable are the ones that are doing the crime?
Yeah. Well, I talk to people all the time on air about dealing with the police, and that is not to deal with the police. My number one rule is do not talk to the police. 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 And you can't tell people enough, do not talk to the police, because it's hard not to talk to the police. You tend to want to talk to the police. You tend to want to tell them your story. And that's what hangs you. That's what gets you in trouble, is talking to the police, opening your
I haven't learned that yet because I go right up to them.
Well, you don't want to go up to them ever. You don't want to talk to the police, period.
Yeah. Well,
you want to stay completely away from them. If you see them on a stop, turn, go down the other block, turn 3 blocks early.
I usually turn the phone on and record them.
Well, that's just stupid. Well, you're married. You have a life. You have a responsibility. You have a life.
Well, I can't get evidence on them if you don't have Well, because everything they're doing is illegal, but that's
your
me.
thing. That's your thing. You can't stop it. You won't stop it. Period.
No, I don't encourage anybody to do what I do. I just tell them I know what I'm doing and I've done it, and I'm out there. Most of them respect me because you stay your distance, I'm staying here. I'm just recording like the news is supposed to. I show my press pass and go, look, I'm doing nothing illegal. And I was on InfoWars in the background behind one of the Trump staged interviews as where the police are harassing me. And it's like you can see them, the 30 of them coming after me for videotaping in public, which InfoWars was doing and it was okay. But I was doing it and it was illegal.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, now how can InfoWars, who carries the same titles as me, it's legal for them to do it, but because I'm Glenn Sutton and I was there with my Moron X co-host, because of him, I'm not allowed my rights, ever. And it's like, why? Why am I, as press, not allowed freedom of the press, but the media is allowed freedom of the press?
Yeah.
It doesn't make much sense. And, it's like, I work, what am I supposed to do? Just give up and walk away, and they'll still find me. And I mean, they bust in my house, kick in my door, hold me at gunpoint, and walk me backwards into my house with my hands up. And they say, "You invited us in." And the hell I did. I had my hands up, and it was under duress. Yeah. But who do you complain to? I come to the public and go, "This is what's going on." They go, "Oh, no, it ain't. You're white. It doesn't matter." Right. Because of melanin in my skin, it doesn't matter.
So glad I'm out of all that. So glad, so thankful that I'm at peace and I'm away from all of that.
I want to be. I want to go up into the mountains and just hide and stay under my covers.
I'm up in the mountains.
I might come join you, mate. I want to get the hell out of here because it's like, holy shit.
Just come on. I live in the best place in the universe.
But
stay away from the police, ladies and gentlemen, and do not talk to the police, and do not let the police come into your door. Do not invite them into your house. This is one of the biggest mistakes people make, is inviting, "Oh, come on in. Have a cup of coffee. I got some coffee on." Yeah, well, fine.
Hey, can we go to the bathroom? Yeah,
don't invite the
we
police.
need to use the bathroom.
And don't put your foot outside the door. Don't put your pinky toe outside the door because they can grab your pinky toe and break it off and pull you out and suck you into
Well, his
their
toe
car.
was out, Your Honor. He was technically out.
Outside. Yeah, outside. If your foot is outside the door, that's all it takes for them to take you.
Well, no, I had them at the front gate, which was about 50 feet from the house, and I'm like, "Do you have what you need to get in?" And the cop unhooked his holster on his gun and put his hand on his gun and started to draw it out and pointed to the house. And like, I put my hands up. I said, "Does this mean you're coming in?" And it was like, "Yeah, yes, it means we're coming in, and you're going to do what we say." And I backed up and walked up the steps backwards and went in the house and said, "You're not welcome in here." And then, "We're coming in anyway." It's like, "I know you are, and you're doing it without a warrant." "Well, we need to talk to you about your son." I said, "That's the only reason that you're coming in my house, because I want to know what you did to my kid."
Yes.
And then they go, "Well, you don't need to worry about what happened to your kid." It's like, you got the wrong sentence there, boy. And I waited for him to start the tape recorder, and I said, the first thing I said, "Do I need a lawyer?" They go, "Why do you think you need a lawyer?" I said, "Well, you're in here illegally." And the cop goes, "Well, we're not here officially." I said, "Of course you're not. Because if you're here officially, I would have a piece of paper in my hand that told me what the fuck you're here for." And I ordered him to stop searching my house. But I'm not allowed any of that tape or anything that happened because the pedophile went to jail and investigated me.
Yeah.
For raping a mentally challenged 15-year-old girl.
Somebody just asked me on Facebook, why the fuck are you stuck on youths and sex? And I said, because this is something we all need to be talking about. This is a very important issue that's been kept secret for many years. Millions and millions of men are doing this. We will save our youth by talking about these issues and bringing them out in the open.
Correct. Yes. You can't fix the problem if you don't discuss the problem.
It has to be opened up sooner or later, and I figured I had to be the one to do it. It has to be opened up. It's been closed too long. It's been in a musty mildew box too long. And this is why our kids are being raped, and this is why our kids are being molested, because we're not talking about it. I like to, there was a good book that I like to push here for a minute. It's called Predator Down by my good friend Marco Coda. Mm-hmm.
It was all about the, pedophiles and how they operate and their mindset, and it's a pretty good book. I recommend it because I worked with him during the stuff with the Fed book when I took him to task in the New York Post. So, and it is a mental illness. I mean, at a certain level, it's got to be because, otherwise it's normal, and then we just got to get used to it and get over it.
I disagree. Damn, I'm typing fast. Boo! It's not a disease at all, and there's nothing abnormal about it whatsoever. It's completely normal. Now, when you finally get this, when you finally swallow this, when you finally grasp this, you're going to take a deep breath, and it's going to shock the living shit out of your mind. Cognitive dissonance is set in among the people. It's totally and completely normal, Glenn. Totally and completely normal. Now we have to deal with what? We have to deal with that. Now, what kind of conversation do we have now, Glenn? All of a sudden, it becomes normal, and I'm in agreement with all of the university studies around the world that are proving me right. Now, what kind of conversation do we have to have, Glenn?
Well, then we need to change the morals of the people. Then we have to make them see that since it is normal, what do we do about it being normal? We have to change
keep it
the
illegal
laws.
to save the children. We have to keep it illegal to
we have to change the laws and change the mentality of the people.
You can't legislate morality. You cannot legislate morality. It doesn't work.
I didn't say legislate it. I said teach them.
Same thing.
We have to teach them. No, we don't indoctrinate them. We teach them. Because what
Teach
you're
them
talking
a new
about
way.
is
Teach them a
Yes.
new way.
show them a new way. Do not indoctrinate them that we have to do the. Show them and teach them that it's normal. We have to do away with the laws making it illegal, just like the marijuana. Do away with the laws making it, decriminalize
So
it.
you're saying, hell, it's against the law now, and millions and millions and millions are doing it. So hell, it might as well be legal. I mean, it's
If
illegal
it's normal,
now, and it's not doing any good. It's illegal
Well-
now, and it's not doing any good.
right, it's illegal now and it's not doing any good. So if it's illegal and not doing any good, make it legal. More people will stop doing it because the thrill about it being illegal goes away, much
Makes
like
sense.
the drug use.
Makes
The
sense.
drug use, you go, okay, all of a sudden they made booze. We'll take booze because it was the only one that was amended. They made booze illegal. The use of booze skyrocketed. The minute they probated it, made it legal again, dropped. Nobody wanted to do it anymore because the thrill of it was gone.
Yeah.
And we'll see the same with drugs. You decriminalize them, the drug use, it'll skyrocket, then all of a sudden it'll go.
Are you up on what's going on with the United Nations and the Third World Council and the Council of Communities as far as giving children rights to have sex at the age of, say, 14, if they want to, with an adult male?
I have heard about it. I mean, people, I get strands of it because I get some that is truthful and then other stuff that's bunk.
Well, this is all real. This is all on the.
I know that they were talking about lowering it down and like
Great
12
Britain
or 13
is full of pedophiles. Great Britain is probably 4 out of 5 people are pedophiles.
and that's in Parliament. Yeah, that was in Parliament.
That's the general population.
Yeah.
It's the they've quit prosecuting. They've quit. The latest that came across my newswire. There's so many pedophile cases. They've stopped investigating.
Yeah. No, I've been following that. There is no multiple pedophile rings. There's only one pedophile ring. It's the whole planet.
Yeah.
It's not separate individual. It's the whole planet.
They were talking about a cult today. They were talking about a cult. I said, cult my ass. These are just people. They might look like a cult. They might smell like a cult. They might group up like a cult, but they're just people.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, that's what it comes down to. It's a human condition. Humans did it. Humans can fix it. I've been preaching that it's the Jews. No, it's the Russians. No, it's the fucking whites. Oh, it's the blacks. It's the humans. The humans did this. The humans can fix it.
And I still say,
it,
if we were hunter-gatherers, it would be okay. I still say, and I'm reading and I'm reading and I'm studying every day. If we were hunter-gatherers, we wouldn't even be having this conversation.
Right. Well, we're not hunter because
we're not hunter-gatherers anymore.
We evolved out of hunter-gatherers into.
We don't have the culture to handle pregnant 12-year-olds anymore. That's my point. We don't have the communities. Right.
We don't have the communities, even though they go, well, the children belong to the communities, not to individuals. But the communities aren't there. Their communities that they're building are tribes, and they're not there. They're all cults, and because you can control this cult against that cult and have them infight and do all this, and you control them like little pawns on a chessboard. And those of us that stand back and go, wait a minute, this is stupid. We're in the minority, really, because there aren't many.
You can't go from one town to the other taking your spoils of women back to your tribe. That's not the way we do things anymore.
We've gone past that. We're evolving into a type 1 civilization instead of a type 0.5. And, We have to change our mindsets. We have to change our way of thinking. And we got to change a lot of these stupid goddamn laws that are on the books that we don't need. You know, you can't shoot a whale from the third-story building. Hey, who the fuck would want to in the first place? And secondly, where the fuck did these laws come up from? I mean, you know, you can't shoot an antelope from a moving train. Find me an antelope, you know, first, and then somewhere where a train is. Yeah. Where the hell is these? You can't spit on the sidewalk. Okay, I'll spit on the policeman then. You know, the mindset has to change of the people, because we got too many rules to govern our lives for, you know, well, you can't break wind in church on Sunday. Yeah, come on, people. We don't need all this shit.
How many thousands and thousands and thousands of rules and regulations and ordinances and statutes are on the books? I forgot. But I know the volumes would fill up 3, 4, 5 rooms just to the ceiling, all the way to the ceiling. Yeah. Pages, 8.5.
And how many of them need to be followed to be a successful civilization? We don't need that many rules. I mean, you know.
No, we don't.
I mean, the Magna Carta wasn't volumes and volumes and volumes. It was like one page. Yeah.
They're all
one
for
page.
money.
That's enough.
They're all about money. You follow the money. Yeah. They're all about money.
Yeah, it always, minute money evolved, control and rule came in. So those with the gold make the rules. That's the golden rule. You know,
people have to have rules, though. People have been indoctrinated to follow rules. People have been programmed.
Yeah, we need common sense rules. Well, no, we need common sense rules. And we need, you know, don't stick a fork in the light socket, people. You know, you don't need to tell people that. If they do that, nature will take care of them. You know, Darwin Awards are for something. You know, you're gone. Yeah, you were too dumb to live. That's what I believe. Do we need, you know, don't put a plastic bag over your head. That should be common sense. You know, you can't breathe, run out of air, and die.
Yeah.
You know, do you need to warn people because they go, oh, well, why do I put it on my head? Yeah, then they die anyway because they're stupid and they didn't follow the directions, or they rebelled against them.
How old are you? How old are you now, Glenn?
I'm 49.
Well, I'm 60. Been around the world a couple of times. Been around the block a couple of times. So, yeah, I'm getting older. I'm getting older, and I can sure feel it, too, I tell you. My eyesight's going. I'm getting a little Alzheimer's with that white matter in my brain they found on that MRI scan the other day. My knees are gone. My back's going. But, you know, I'm still clicking. I'm still ticking like you on the computer every day, all day, 7 days a week, 24 hours a day. I'm there, baby, 18 hours a day anyway.
I'm there as much as I can be during, you know. I have my seizures and fit episodes and stuff, and then I'll have days where I don't do anything because I physically can't. And there are days that I go for 103 hours. Yeah, so it just varies. Yeah, I'm in the same boat. I'm not traveled the world as extensively. I've only been up and down the East Coast doing wrestling as a wrestling manager. But, you know, I did a lot of traveling then. And I saw a lot of the southern United States, and you know, and plus I've been around since, you know, the 80s, so I've watched the decline of our civilization and told people, hey, this stuff is coming, hey, this is coming, hey, this is coming. How do I know? I read the white papers, I read the research, I do all the research that nobody wants to do, and then because it's me and I put it out, nobody wants to listen. And then, but later, it's on my blog, they find it and come back and, oh, wow, look at this. It's like, yeah, I know, I wrote it. Yeah. So.
Have you really ever stopped to think how many lunatics there are out there? How many lame brains?
All of them. All of them.
Clueless people who just don't give a damn what you or I are saying, or they don't even get it. They don't even get
all
it.
Of them. Yeah, they're all out there, yeah. Every one of them are out there, yeah. No, I have gone, it's like, I ask myself sometimes, is it really worth what I'm doing? But, you know, getting back to those, well, you only have 12 readers. If it was only those 12 readers, I would still do what I'm doing. for those 12 readers, I would find out the answers. So, yes, I would still, until I have nobody following me, I will still do what I'm doing. It's all I can do. I mean, I don't know any other way. Because my wife said, well, what would you do? I would love to travel around and take photographs of the United States. I mean, that's really what I wanted to do, was travel around place to place, never staying in the same place too long and just up and go. But I got stuck here raising my child, which I do not regret. And now that he is of age and a man and can go out in the world on his own, the sky's the limit for me now. So, but I'm looking at getting bigger and doing more and getting the message out there more.
We're going to do that if everything works out in May or June. I may be calling with some good news. We're going to take off and travel for a while in our RV. And that's going to be a lot of fun, doing live shows on the road, taking pictures along the way like we used to do. We love living off the grid. We love living off the grid. We lived off the grid 6 years up here, and we really loved it, man. We really loved it.
I lived off the grid for a year out of the back of a minivan, and that's where I got my son from.
Yeah.
We had a little bit too much fun up in the mountains, and we lived up there for about a year. Also, survived 2 hurricanes out in the middle of nowhere. That will test you.
Yeah.
You're out in the middle of nowhere in a little minivan in the middle of a hurricane.
Oh, shit.
That puts your survival skills to a test. And then it was a week before the forest rangers came back, and they were like, "You're still alive?" It's like, "Yeah, we're having fun." You locked us up on the mountain. Of course, we're still alive.
Yeah.
We had to find some high ground, but it was all right. We survived.
I'm glad I'm not in the mainstream anymore. I'm glad I'm kind of out of everything. I'm alone here with Mary. We have our own little quiet lives. We go to the doctor a lot, and we go to the board meetings a lot. We're on the board. We're on the councils. And we don't play mainstream patty cake anymore. And I'm glad. I just got sick of looking at people. Got sick of dealing with people. I got sick of all the bullshit and all the pretend and hypocrisy. And I'm glad just to be home now and by myself here with her. And that's wonderful. It's just wonderful to be that way. No, I've got a drink. But it's just much better for me not to be out there in the hustle bustle trying to get inventory for a store or come up with some entrepreneurial idea or new project or new invention. I think those days are over for me.
Well, I'm just doing what I'm doing. I mean, I've been doing it since 2005. I've been blogging and doing my articles and doing going out to events locally and doing what I can do. And I've been on C-SPAN for the EPA hearing on chemtrails, and I do stuff like that. And it's like yeah, I would like to have a steady paycheck, but then I'm also under somebody's control at that point. They pay me. You have to follow their agenda and what they want to do, and that's not what I want to do. I want to do what I'm doing, and if it doesn't make any money, I'm still getting it out there. I'm doing it on nothing already. I can keep doing it on nothing and still do what I'm doing and be effective. And I tell people, it's like you don't have to have, if you've got a cell phone, you've got an internet connection, you've got a computer, you've got a whole transmitter right there, and you can be part of the solution. Just get out there and tell people what's going on, even if it's just what's out your front door. I have so many news stories. I just open my door and they happen in my front yard. It's pathetic. You can see stuff going on every day out your front yard. You don't even have to leave your house and tell people what's going on in your neck of the woods. And, grow communities that way where people are sharing the information, sharing sharing the stupid memes, sharing all this stuff, and that's what it's all about, and getting the word out there. And if people, we don't believe it, move on. Don't listen to them. Just keep going. They're not meant to, they're not meant to hear the message.
I'm sitting here listening to you at 60 years old, and I'm just thinking, I just don't give a fuck what's happening anymore.
I'm almost to the same point, mate. I mean, I've still got that little spark of hope because I'll never give up hope.
And it's I don't mean that sarcastically. I don't mean that sarcastically at all. I just mean, it's kind of like I
ask myself many times. I wake up every morning and go, why do I do this? Do I even fucking care anymore? Because it's just so.
When
it's
I post
so stupid sometimes.
Post something about Ukraine, or you post something about Guatemala, or you post something about NOAA, Oceanic Organization, or the Corps, and you think, what the fuck did I do that for? Nobody gives a fuck about that.
Well, okay. I mean, I could bring up one I'm an advocate for is Hidden Valley condos. This place needs to be condemned 17 years ago. It had a 3-story wall on the side of the building, fell completely off the building, fell away from the building, boom, went down on the ground. They basically just super glued the thing back onto the building and said it in no way affected the integrity of the building. It has mold, it has mildew, it has sewage backed up. It's basically Love Canal because there's toxic crap all over the place. 2 schools right within shouting distance of this, like within 3,000 feet of this, have been torn down because of asbestos, because of mold, mildew, crap leaking into it from the ground. And it's forgotten. Nobody does anything about it. Nobody hears about it. I report it to the EPA. Nobody cares about it. I reported to the government. Nobody cares about it. They don't care, but they bitch about Flint, Michigan. This place is worse than Flint, Michigan, and nobody cares about it. So, ergo, why worry about Flint, Michigan then? It's around the United States. The infrastructure is crumbling and is terrible. And why doesn't the government? The government isn't supposed to take care of it. We are supposed to take care of it. We pay the government, and the government screws us and says we fixed the problem. And nothing got done other than we gave money to Israel or some other country that really needs the money. And oh my God, where did they get all the armaments to attack us from? We gave them to them. Shit, you give enemies weapons to attack you. That's the way it goes anymore. And sometimes I'm to the point, why should I even cover this anymore? I point this out to people and they go, It's like, but a little lamb lost its way from home and it becomes a story for 3 days.
Yeah.
It's like, oh my God. Give me a break.
I don't know what to think about the postings right now. I mean, I'm looking at my guy that said, what the fuck are you talking about youth and sex for? And then I'm looking at my post, people posting things, keep calm and let me lick your pussy. There's my stuff. There's our stuff. There's Glenn and Kiler on air. All of my poetry's been posted tonight. But just stuff's not coming out. Stuff's not coming out about chemtrails right now. It's not the secret government, the dark state. No,
because I honestly think that Trump is like a sleeper cell. He's put in there to make us all forget what was going on, and we buy into it, and we do good for a while, and then all of a sudden, the agenda. We know the agenda doesn't stop. They don't push Agenda 21. Trump gets in and no more Agenda 21. We would just give it up. No, it'll still go. And the problem is, where does he fit in, and what happens because he's in? And I think it's to put us back to sleep and to get us off guard. so that when they do implode the economy or they do whatever they're going to bring in next, to bring in what's going to be worse than what we already had, is the way I'm looking at it. People go, oh, you support Trump. No, you stop the TPP. Thank you. He's going after NAFTA that made us North American Union. Thank you. But what are they going to put in when they do away with that? And then people go, oh, it's like, no, I'm more afraid of what's coming in because I don't know. You know, I'm trying to find out what, there's so many different factions. Who's he a faction of? You know, which cabal is he part of? I don't know, because we all know they're puppets and he's somebody's, you know, face on the crowd. But is it a good face? Is it a bad face? Is it like Hulk Hogan that comes in and is the hero, and then all of a sudden, woo, NWO? You know, you don't know. You know, he's not been in long enough, but what I've seen a lot of good, and I've seen a lot of bad. And I've seen a lot of crap from the media that has nothing to do with what's going on. So it's a conundrum, and, you know, people are asking, well, will you support Trump? It's like, no, I support the truth. I support what I feel is right. And, you know, how can all the globalists be against him and him be bad? But he can be bad. I mean, I'm not saying he's not. I'm not saying he's good. I'm saying I'm watching him, and if he goes sideways, I'm going to let everybody know. If he does good, I'll let everybody know. If he does bad, I'll let everybody know. I don't vote. So saying I support so-and-so, I don't vote. You know, I find it a waste of time to vote in a rigged election. I don't participate in fraud, you know?
Yeah.
And they go, oh, we the people don't vote. We never voted. You know, we don't, because if you vote, you become a citizen, and you go under the direct rule of the thing that you made. And why would I give my rights up and to somebody that doesn't even know who the hell I am? I mean, it doesn't make any sense to me. And, you know, it's like, oh, you can't blame me because I didn't vote. You know.
Yeah.
Look at consent of the governed. Yeah.
Well, I don't vote just because of the sheer madness of all of it, and knowing what I know about the bureaucratic system and the political system. I don't vote. I mean, I've
been pressed for 22 years. Why don't I vote? I've seen the inside and shit. I do. You know, the AT's running half of the fucking scam. I posted that before this election. I busted them. You know, it's like, hello, there it is. It's all rigged. Why would I vote in something that's already rigged?
Yeah.
It's already predetermined what's going to happen for the most part, you know? So it doesn't make any sense to vote and you go, oh, well, you support Trump. Oh, well, you don't support. You know what? I don't care. I really don't.
People have to vote until we find a better way or another way, or people will and would short circuit. So even if voting is real or not real, even if voting counts or it doesn't count, we still have to vote or have people that do vote, because it would really fuck up the system if all of a sudden everyone woke up and said, we're not going to vote. It would really fuck up the system.
So, I mean, I can see, you know, it's much like the drug where you have to wean yourself off of it, you know. Until we bring in and start producing a reset or another system.
Well, until we call a grand jury and get rid of Congress and House and Senate.
Yeah.
Until we call a grand jury and start arresting people with warrants from the grand jury, people's grand jury, we're going to have to continue to do it the way we've been doing it.
Yeah. And in which case it's going to be messed up, and, you know, hey, I got job security. Yeah. As long as they keep messing up, I got job security. So I look at it that way. It's like I always got something to report.
Most so-called truthers, most so-called militia people, most so-called patriots do not have a clue how complex this overall system is in the politic. They think they do, but they don't. They don't realize how complex this situation is and how many people are involved in government. And this is something I try to push on my show a lot, is to get people to stop and think, back up, and try to reorganize, restructure your thinking, and realize how damn big this system is and how powerful this system is and how many wheels are turning in this system. Until you can understand that, you may not leave the temple.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yep. Amen, brother. People, we'll just do away with this. Well, if you do away with this, it affects this. And it also affects that. And it goes down and trickles down and does all this other stuff. And it's like, it's like pulling a string on a sweater, You might pull the right one and unravel the whole thing. But then again, you might pull one and just have a big mess. And, it's like you got to find the right string. And finding that right way right now is start reducing the government. Not build it, reduce it.
Trump's trying to do that.
Yeah.
Trump's working on it.
Like I said, I've seen a lot of good from him because he's cutting back. We don't need the EPA. They don't do anything. I have all these reports to them. They do nothing. But then they go, we need more money to do this thing and then they release toxic waste into a river. And it's like, what good are they? They don't do anything but waste our money. And it's a feel good. And they might have been good when they started. I doubt it, but they might have been good when they started, but they've lost that over the decades. And, and they're building, like CNN, they used to be reputable. Now they're certified not news. And, hey, but they're still living on that, we're the number one. No, you're not. You used to be, but you're not now. And much like the, white top symbols, so a symbol is used for 1,000 years, and then somebody turns it and goes, it's a hate symbol now, and all of a sudden it's only been ever a hate symbol. Well, no, there's been history before that. We can't just erase that and go, from this time period it's this. It doesn't work that way.
Yeah.
I mean, and that's what we're trying to do. We keep, this symbol is evil, and only because you said it was now, and from now on it will be because you said so and associated with that. But then later on, like 100 years from now, somebody might take that symbol again and white top it again and make it something else, and then it becomes brand new. And it's like it just history repeating itself. And people don't see this. It's like we got to evolve away from government. We don't need government. We need governance to a point, but not 10 billion laws for nothing.
Well, we have too many people in the We have too many people in the population. That's the problem. If you read any good history book, if you read any good book written by any good scholar on history, an deep analysis of history, going back 6,000, going back 15,000 years, you'll see that we've done all this to ourselves. We've given up governance. We've given up our freedom. We've given up our power, our self-empowerment, and we've given it up to a centralized government. It's that simple. And we will have to take the consequences of our actions, of giving up on ourselves as people. We take the crumbs off the table. That's what we do. And that's the way the system is built for redistribution. The government has to take everything in for redistribution. That's why we have capitalism. That's why we have commercialism. We don't grow our own gardens anymore. We don't process our own beef and hogs and chickens anymore. So somebody else has to do it for us, and that's called capitalism. And when you have capitalism, you have corruption. I don't know why people don't get this. People are like, we need to do this, need to do that. No, we need to first understand what's happening and why it's happening. Yeah,
we need to understand the problem first.
Right.
Not go, this is the call. This is the solution. This is the solution, and this is a solution. What's the problem? We don't know, but these are solutions. It's like,
it evolved normally and naturally. And the strong always take the spoils. The powerful always take the spoils. If you've had any minor basic history at all, and you go back and look from hunter-gatherer 15,000 years ago, you'll see that the strong always take the weak. I don't know how much more succinct I could put it. That's just the way the system runs. That's just the way the system works. If you want to be strong, if you want to be powerful, that's fine. Then you'll become the New World Order.
oh yeah, I agree that, you know, we're going to have a global government. Now, what kind of global government? That's the question. There will be a global, they've already stated there will be. You know, it's inevitable because it's got to happen. They've already planned it. That's their goal. Now, which way is it coming in? That's the problem. And, you know, I'm pushing for more of a self-governing populace than the ruled over by a group of few. Because a group of few is what gets us into all these problems, where if we have a constitutional republic type system, maybe it might work. But it isn't coming in that way.
Well, I can already tell you they're getting ready to put everybody on a check, I think. They're getting ready to give everybody a check.
They're pushing for this cashless society. And the Sesame Seed code, you know, where the government, if you talk to the wrong people, you get a negative check mark and your score goes down. And if you go below, if you go to zero, you can't eat and you can't do this and you're processed and eliminated.
Kind of like on Facebook.
Yeah. And face scan. And when people are, don't worry about it. It's like face scan. They're going to soon use your face and biometrics for you to buy and sell stuff.
Well, they're already doing that.
Yeah, and that's what Facebook started out as. And face scan, you walk into some stores, they got a little monitor that they know where you walk, know what you do, know where you go. And it's like they monitor everything. You know, it's like, no, I've known about it, you know, Epsilon, Prism. I mean, I can name them, some of these off the top of my head of what they're doing. Face scan, Facebook. Of course, I call it FedBook because that's what it is. I mean, it was a DARPA made CIA, FBI run piece of spyware.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's like, no, I wrote articles about it. I did the research. I've contacted FedBook security, so I know how to get a hold of them. You don't just type them into a search bar and they pop up magically. No secret agent pops up that easy. You know, people, oh, you don't know. It's like, yes, I do. I talk to police. I talk to feds. I talk to agents. I talk to shills. I talk to agitators. I know these things because I talk to these people. I mean, my God. And then we don't want to believe it. Well, that's the only truthful thing you said so far is you don't want to believe me. Yes.
You know, they label you mentally disturbed now if you talk to the police or engage the police. I guess you know that.
Yeah, I'm mentally disturbed because
immediately when you engage the police, you become an immediate suspect, high-level suspect. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. And I carry a press badge, so it's okay. Well, I tell them it helps me for a little bit.
With that and a dime, you can get a cup of coffee sometimes, but
not even only in a cheap diner.
Sometimes it works when you're on a scene. It can keep you out of some trouble if you know how to use it, know how to flash it, and you stay back far enough away from the scene.
I usually let them do their job or whatever they're doing, and I hang way back where I don't interfere with them. And
well, that's good.
They usually let me. You know, like during these events, I march among the police. So it's like, you know, I film the police doing what they're doing. People go, oh, you don't know. It's like, no, that's how I catch all this stuff because I stand there. Everybody, oh, don't talk to police, run away. Yeah, I stand there and film the police doing what they're doing. That's why I find all these agitators, why I find all these secret agents, why I find all these things that go on. is because I watch them doing what they're doing. I film the media doing the same thing, setting up the shot, setting the scene up where you draw back and you photograph the whole thing. It looks totally different than what you see on TV, where it's a small little thing. And it's like, yeah, they might have 4 or 5 people in front of the camera, but that's not what happened at the scene. You know, that's only what they staged and put a face on it for you. But then you look behind the scene where you see them directing and motioning and telling people to move, and it's like you start watching what's going on, not what's going on. And people, oh, that doesn't make any sense. It's like, no, I don't watch what's going on. I don't watch the riot. I watch the people in the riot, what they're doing. And you can usually spot them, and you start watching them long enough, you start learning the cues, like wrestling. You know, every kid in the third row can tell you every move the guy's going to do before he does it. So, you know, it's like you get to the point where, oh, okay, they're doing this. This means this is coming up. Here it is. Okay. And they gave the signal. Now this fight starts, and then they give another signal and it stops, and you can time it, and you know you can walk through it, and you start walking people through it enough, they go, oh, wait a minute, now I see what's going on. You bring the subconscious to the conscious, and they go, whoa, I see it now. I see what you're saying. Police are doing, you know, the police are interacting and forcing this problem, and it's only when, you know, if it was organic, the police wouldn't have any control over it. But when they give a signal and the riot starts, and they give another signal and the riot stops, that's planned and staged. And, you know, when you got it on video of them doing it, and they go, well, you can't have that. You can't stop me, you know. Or you can stop me, you can lock me up, but that just proves my point even more. So.
Yeah, I'm glad I'm out of that. I used to be right in the middle of it.
I have to be in the middle of it right now. I don't want to be, but I'm here and I'm doing a job. So.
I'm glad you're doing a job for me. Do my job too while you're out there. My days are over.
Yeah.
I've been a journalist, been in journalism and working in cable television and public radio for over 27 years. And I've just settled back now, just into my semi-retirement stage.
Well, I don't look at myself as a journalist. I mean, people, oh, you're a journalist, and it's like, no, I'm out there. I'm more of a correspondent. I'm out there just, I used to be behind the camera. I know, you know, one of them ones that cameraman, you don't talk, you just film what's going on. And, you know, it's like, well, the people in front of the camera aren't telling you what's going on. So somebody has to fill in. So I stepped up and said, okay, let me start writing. Let me start getting out there what's going on from my personal perspective from behind the camera. And, you know, I try to bring that as like just an ordinary guy doing video who just happened to see all this stuff and know all this stuff and showing the people how the magic trick works.
It's going to get much, much, much worse on filming the police here in the next 3 to 5 years. It's going to get to where you cannot film the police, period. No questions asked. No questions asked. You will go to jail, and you will regret ever pulling out a camera.
I've already foreseen that, and when it starts getting really hot, I ain't going to be out there doing it.
Of course not.
Right now, I can still. I mean, people go, you were in the middle of that Trump riot, and you were filming it, and it was crazy. It's like, yeah, I was in the middle of it, and it was all staged. It wasn't as crazy as it looked because the one actor was in front of me most of the time. The police came up to him, gave him a signal or something. He walks off one way, puts on a T-shirt, and comes in the other way as the Trump supporter. And it's like, well, wait a minute. He was in front of me the whole time yelling about, you know, how he hates Trump, and then he comes in as he loves Trump and let in by the police. And, you know, it was WWE, except WWE does it much better.
we would all be amazed if we knew how those things really worked behind closed doors. I've been in on a couple of those meetings in my 60 years, and they're interesting, setting them up and getting everybody in position and making sure the timing is correct and the place and space, and working on contingency plans for people's safety. They have to take safety into consideration. They have to take routes in and routes out into consideration. They have to take positioning into consideration, and they have to take innocent bystanders into consideration. They have to think about who might join the riot that's not supposed to be there. They're very complex, very, very complex staging. Very complex.
Oh yeah, I mean, I give them credit. They do a lot of, but like I said, when you're standing out in the middle of it and you're watching and you know the cues and you see it going down and go, well, they messed that up. Well,
and they'll look at you and they'll either go, oh, he's harmless, don't worry about him, or he's a target, let's get him out of here, or let's give him hell, or let's not.
Usually they give me hell. Usually they give me hell.
Yeah, one of the four.
They don't usually attack me because I am a little bit bigger than most of them, but like I said, I know some of them, and they just kind of back off, and I'm back. When they back off, I back off. And it's not. I don't bulldog them unless they start really getting in my face. And, it's like a professional distance that we hold, and it's like so far, knock on wood, I haven't had too many problems. They ignore me, and they violate my rights constantly, but they haven't roughed me up because they usually got, this last time they had like 30 guys on me. So it was like, I'm not going to do too much with 30 armed people on me.
No, of course not.
And I was polite, but I didn't comply. I was like, no, I don't have to turn off my camera. InfoWars isn't turning off their camera. I'm doing the same thing. And if it's illegal to fucking film me to film.
They're terrified of InfoWars.
Yeah. And I'm like, it's like, well, if they're doing it, it's not illegal. Why am I being harassed for doing the same thing?
25 million hits a day on your website.
And it's like, and you're bugging me because of my ex-co-host. What were you doing the 7 years before I knew him? This has been going on way before I knew my ex-co-host. This isn't because of him you're doing this. This was going on way before then. And my best friend was murdered in my yard. The city knows who I am. And they walk up to me, oh, hi, Glenn, and then 5 seconds later, who are you? It's like, come on. Don't play stupid. You don't do it too well. So, this is the dichotomy that I live in. It's like, but then I go up to Washington, D.C., and treated like press, treated the way I'm supposed to be. Everywhere but my hometown, I'm treated as press, but in my hometown, I'm treated like dirt. So,
well,
it's just the situation I live in.
Reputation is everything, and not what you know, but who you know and what you know has to do with everything. Being in the right place at the right time has to do with everything, and getting the prior permissions and permits has to do with the right thing, or just hoping that you get lucky when you're on the scene and they don't harass you too much. So, and you stay out of the way of their investigation.
That's pretty much what I do. Is I'm on the scene, filming what's going on. If they tell me to back up, I back up. I don't mouth off to them. It's like, oh, don't tell me what to do. I comply with them when they're reasonable, but when they're telling, don't photograph, you can't do this, you can't do that. It's like, if it's not interfering with your business, leave me alone.
Mm-hmm. And they'll say that it is interfering.
Yeah, and it's like, but it's okay because I started broadcasting live for all the events now, so they can take my phone and they can arrest me, but it's still out there. So they can't touch it anymore. And so until they start jamming me with their the Stingray and stuff and messing my phone up.
It's boring on Facebook now. Alex Jones even said he's bored. The news feeds are boring. The news feeds have slowed down. Everything's slowed down right now.
There's nothing going on because everybody's panicking about Russia and what Trump's doing, and they forgot about the Yeah, it's like, well, the news cycle is really dead right now.
Well, the New World Order is doing its due right now in secret and silence, and
Yeah.
it's having a heyday. It's having a heyday right now. Of course, they're going 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 a year. But if you start reporting on that kind of stuff, people don't even look at it because it's not mainstream.
Mm-hmm.
They're like, why are you reporting on that? What is that? What does that mean? I don't understand. Well,
yeah.
whatever.
Oh, that's a lot. You know, I tell people, start reading my blog. Oh, it's like, no. Start reading my blog. You got to go back to 2005 and start reading what the articles that I've written. It's like you'll find out a lot of stuff. Well, you can't read. We too long didn't read it. Well, then you don't want to know.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
you have to want to know. The drive to know has to be there first. If that isn't there, you're. I have more luck yelling at a brick wall because at least I get an echo back. Because some of these people, you yell at them and you don't ever get through to them. So
I've known people for 6, 7, 8 months, and they don't even know I'm a talk show host or have a station or anything else. Just floors me. Just floors me. They look at my post and that's it. They don't really know who I am. Don't care who I am. So that's
like they just read the headline. They don't read the article. They just read the headline. Comment on what they see, and or much like my ex-co-host, he attacked me over an icon that appeared that FedBook put up there. I don't have any control over what FedBook puts up there. Oh, you're promoting pornography. It's like, no, I wasn't. I was promoting my timeline since 1982. Mm-hmm. And if you read the thing, which you stated you didn't, you would have known that I was against, I was in the adult business, and I used what I learned to go against what was going on. It was, that's evil. Well, then I'm evil. I don't care. I still did it. I was published worldwide. There's nothing wrong with that. And what people do behind closed doors with consenting adults shouldn't be anybody's fucking business, and they don't even judge it, It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
It was adults. It was all adults. It was, and they come in, like we get back to my 2257. They never checked it, so how do they know if it was adults or not? They don't. Was it illegal? No, nothing I did was illegal. I was published in major magazines. A lot of people call that being successful. This day and age is, you're a pervert. Oh, you disgusting. It's like, and it was 20 years ago.
Yeah.
Come on. And what did you do? You were wetting your pants 20 years ago and getting detentions in school. Oh, come on, people. They also say, well, why do you put out there all this negative stuff in your writings about yourself? So that nobody can attack me and dig up dirt. If I put it all out there and control the propaganda, they go, well, wait a minute, we're going to dig something up on him. Hey, he did he already said he did porno. Well, he did, he already said that. He already stated that too. It takes all their ammo away.
Yeah.
And then they just have to attack you. Oh, you're a scuzzball. It's like, yeah, I agree with you on that.
Wow.
I mean,
amazing. Totally amazing. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I'm getting tired. And I think we're going to close the show out on the 7:34 p.m. Tuesday night, March the 7th, 2017. If you're listening to this in the future, it is in the past. It's already been played and done, so you can't call in. But we will be back on air Thursday night for your listening pleasure from 6 p.m. to 7 p.m. Pacific time on TalkShoe. And in the next few days, we are going to get the 24-hour station back up and running. So we will be here for you. And Mr. Glenn Sutphin, I appreciate you being on air with me again tonight.
All right, thank you for having me on, sir.
I will see you on FedBook, my friend.
Yep.
Well,
Later.
bye-bye. Bye-bye.